If I may ask, who all are content creator in the travel space? Influencers. Travel influencers, to be more specific. None? Okay. Who all would like to be? 3. Well, in that case, now that you understand, because you're considerably, I saw a lot of people would like to travel. So I would like to brag myself a little bit here, and I would like to tell you that I'm the OG travel influencer. I started my journey of traveling 16 years back. Uh, Now I am into programming and direction and a lot of other stuff, but the journey has been fantastic, journey of discovery, journey of learning, and hopefully inspiring. My name is Rohan Anil Patoley. I'm a director, show presenter, creative head, and these days, podcaster too. Do you guys listen to podcasts by any chance? You do. Okay, great. Can we break some stereotypes here, okay? Because it's so difficult to speak with such a live audience. It's so much easier to speak on camera because there we have the option of retakes. Everybody understand travel presenter, right? Because I've been told that you have to go and tell how can you be successful travel presenter. Travel presenter, I'll elaborate that in a little later. But can we be a little interactive here? Okay, because it's just, I'm used to that casual and informal environment. So yes, my name is Rohan Anil Patoley, and I want you to picture this. Let me break it down to you. A man, a boy, this boy, travels the world, stays in the best of the hotels, explore the best of the cuisine and the best of the culture, and here's the best part. Someone else pays for me to have fun. Good job? Ooh! Okay, it's pretty glossy. That's what a travel presenter is all about, you know. We travel the world, we bring different stories, and I've been doing that. It's pretty glossy. It's like a fairy tale. Is it easy? Not really. Is it achievable? Hell yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you today is travel presentation is a huge topic, so I'm going to break it down to the core, how you can make your foundation very strong. Please first understand that a lot of travelers here, travelers or traveling is different than being a travel presenter. Travelers may have more knowledge, they may have more experience, but as a travel presenter, you have to make sure that your audience who are watching you on television or on digital media are being entertained. The stories you tell them are sellable. Your story. Why? I will tell you later. Your story. That's my dad. I come from a place called as Jalna. Jalna is a place in Marathwada district in Maharashtra. My father was a football coach. Both the pictures were clicked by him. And because he was a football coach, always on the field, I was introduced to outdoor sports, outdoor activities at a very early age. While I was playing, I also got a scholarship from the state government for excellence in sports. And while I was schooling and everything, I developed the liking for theater, drama, regional theater, Marathi theater. Okay? The reason I'm telling you all these things because all these factors added to the whole television presentation part. Okay, it's a very unique profile which I have. Not many people understand it, more importantly. Neither my family, when I went and told them that I'm a travel presenter, they said, it's okay, fine, no problem. Keep that as a passion, but what are you doing? How are you going to run the house? Okay? So I believe my parents were very supportive here, especially my father. Now that I look back, I think that he wanted me to pursue. He always saw his young days in me, and he wanted me to pursue what he couldn't. Cut to a couple of years down the line, I finished my post-graduation in mass media, came to Mumbai. It took me 3 years to crack my first television show. So this is just to give you a correct idea that nothing will be served to you on the platter, okay? Life is not a bed of roses. So you have to work, but then again, you have to be very focused, very attentive. You have to make sure that opportunity will come like a whisper, and you have to grab it down. It took me 3 years, but the sense of urgency, what I had then, was immensely, because my father was not well. He was on the deathbed, and I wanted him to see me on television. He was the one person. He was my biggest audience. So the whole journey started from working and then auditioning and everything, but the main fact was I wanted him to see before he go. And it happened because that sense of urgency really worked. Uh, his illness drove me to pursue my dreams madness. Like a madman, I was doing that. He happened to see a couple of my shows, just a couple, not too many. But I'll tell you something, I'll share with you something perhaps you can relate to. When he was on his deathbed, he called me, Rohan, come over, I want to talk to you. And he told me that, Rohan, I don't think I have much time left with me. I just want you to take care of 3 things. 1, take care of Mama. She's going to need you, she's going to be alone. Be there for her. Number 2, pay your dues on time. Pay your dues, clear all the liabilities you have. And number 3, don't stop. I didn't get that point of time what he actually meant, but he said, don't stop. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever you believe into, don't stop doing it. So I'm still continuing, I'm still crazy, I still feel that, and I still, having that whole fame and money got into my head because my biggest audience is not there with me. I lost him a couple of years back. But the reason I told you this short story is to tell you, of course, the initial involvement in activities, especially outdoors, will give you that flexibility as a television presenter. Sports teaches you a lot of things. Finish what you have started, how to build a team, how to maintain as a captain. A lot of things have been told to you in sports. And my dad's story I told you because it was very important to tell you that every presenter needs to have a why. Why am I doing it? Why I should watch your show? Why are you unique to someone else? You have to clear that why instantly. In order to be more relatable to the audience, your audience wants something which is simple, something which is very clear. And you can do that by clearing your why. Fair enough? Okay, moving on to the next part. Next part, now this is the story because the story plays a very vital role. I'll tell you everything as I boil it down to the end part. My second point is your friendship with the camera. Back in the days where we used to audition, things were a little different. We used to audition, series of audition, then if we are selected, we used to go for a pilot shoot. Pilot shoot is the first episode. It's like it may go on air, it may not go on air, but it's called as pilot. So it's just a trial and error thing, what we do. And then if you're selected, you go and do the show. Now things are different. Now it's more about how you look and how many followers you have and your social media account and all of that sort. So back then, things were different. But having said that, I have worked with a lot of influencers. Mind you, vlogging or video blogging, what they say, is also not similar to television presenter. Because here you're carrying a mobile or a small camera, maybe a mid-shot. But we are talking about multiple camera setup, where there's one camera here, there's one camera there, there's one camera, take my close-up there. So a lot of cameras are there while presenting a show, even if it is a travel show. So you need to have an idea of how much is the space I need to move on. What is my body language? I cannot be like this and I say, hey, I'm very excited to be here. It doesn't relate to you, right? So you have to be a little easy. Keep it simple, keep it real. Real is what we are. Vocals. I come from drama, theater. So they teach you a lot about vocals, how to speak, when to pay, how to take your vocals high and stuff like that. It really helps because you have to do a lot of dubbing, a lot of voiceover. Scripts. There's something difference between fiction and non-fiction. Fiction is what serials you see. Non-fiction is something you make it on the spot. Okay, so at that times when you don't have scripts, I have to make it on the spot. So your presence of mind is very, very important. But ultimately, it's that camera. I always think that when I look into the camera, I always feel that when that red light starts, there are a billion people watching me beyond that camera. And this was my dream. This was my dream, and now that I have it, I need to make the most of it. So that responsible thing is always there because I've earned this thing, and I might as well nurture it, and I might as well stick with it. So that's my second point. First point was my story, your story. Second was friendship with the camera. And here's the third thing. The third part is don't be a preacher. Don't butterfly gyans. People like to hear stories. Be a storyteller. Okay, stories are easy to tell. Stories are easy to sell. Stories are easy to remember. Okay, there are a lot of stories. Having said that, having been traveling for 16 long years, more than 40 countries, entire India. I don't have anything but stories. Stories about amazing people, stories about amazing places. For example, if I may have to share with you, I used to do food shows, okay? I used to travel for food, and I used to explore different cuisines. So everybody knows there is a Chinatown in Kolkata? There's a Chinatown in Kolkata. Chinese came from that side. But do you know why do we call sugar as chini? Sugar, we call it chini in Hindi, right? Okay, that is because these guys used to bring sugar from that side. So chini became Chinese, chini became sugar. Okay, so when you go into the origin, when you go into the evolution of a certain product, that's where you find your stories. That's what the audience of today wants. Those are a couple of my experiences. Recently, I did a show with my pet. He's Healer. We did a show in Uttarakhand after Corona where I said that, travel has changed post-Corona. Why shouldn't the travel content? I traveled with my pet to give people an idea of slow travel, how to appreciate slow travel. Leave the hotels, go and stay in the homestays, vast spaces, mountains, and who would bring that perspective? That's where Healer came into the picture. So yeah, a couple of my journeys here. So the third point is very, very, very important. Be a storyteller. Stories are entertaining. Ultimately, I keep telling my friends are here, I keep telling them, I understand you like art films and documentaries and all of this thing, but please stay in a house which doesn't have too many awards and all the utensils are gone out of the house, okay? So you have to make something which is very massy. Ultimately, it all boils down to entertainment. So anyways, what I'm trying to tell you is, I can go on and on about that. I've stayed with the wolves in Norway. I've met Santa Claus in Rovaniemi in Finland. I have played football with the Hamar tribe in Ethiopia. I have crossed the Tropic of Cancer, Capricorn, Equator, Arctic. I have sailed in the Nile. I have eaten cockroaches and worms in Southeast Asia. I met and I ate reindeer at the same time. And I bungee jumped in Nepal in 2015, minutes before the earthquake. This is the fun stuff we tell you. What we don't tell you is I lost a lot of time without my family. I didn't have any time for my family. I couldn't marry the love of my life. I was stranded in a space where all my colleagues, all my friends were well settled in life. Children, investments, properties, marriage, perfect. And I found myself aloof, completely aloof. But here I am standing in front of you, talking my heart out. What I'm trying to tell you is it's okay to not be okay. It's okay. In time, things will happen, and imperfection is beautiful. And perhaps that is something what resonated with my audience, because I didn't go do the show saying that I'm some superstar, I'm going to come there. I just told them, I'm just a boy next door, and I'm passionate about traveling. And mind you, I was doing food shows, I can't even cook. But I shifted the perspective to a foodie. I love eating. I would tell stories about my mom. I would tell stories about my culture. I would exchange the culture when I used to go abroad. So all of that clicked with the people, and that's perhaps one of the reasons why I've been asked to come and share my little views here. But ultimately, it all boils down to this thing. There are going to be difficult times. I came to your college, and I saw your college. It's a brilliant college, beautiful outside, but there's a different life outside that gate. I want you to be mentally prepared, and mind you, things will fall in place, provided you're persistent about it. Keep your why in place. Why need not have to be just about filming, or for that matter, why can be anything, and why needs to be much more important than that money in your bank account. It has to have some sort of emotional connect. My why was to perform before he goes away. I did that. And since then, why keeps changing, but why becomes a very important part. Tomorrow when I go, whenever I go and do a new show, I always go and find out, why am I going to Vietnam? Why am I filming with this tribe? Why am I doing that? All of that is there. So it's okay to not be okay. As you say, I'll give you a couple of examples. 2 minutes are still there. Everybody knows Nile, right? Egypt, Nile. Do you know that Nile travels through 10 countries? 10 countries. But only find its reverence in Egypt. There's a word, I was in Finland, there's a word called as sisu. Sisu doesn't have a direct terminology. It means being bold, something with guts, okay? They don't like giving up very fast. So they say that, you got to try, you got to have sisu. If you go to Japan, there's something called as kintsugi. Kintsugi is a traditional process where when you have a crack on the vessel, they seal it with silver and gold. And if that vessel is sold in the market, it's sold at a higher price than the normal vessel. What I'm trying to say is imperfection is beautiful. So I hope you stumble upon a lot of things, you find your way back. I hope you get a lot of hurdles, and I hope that you turn your mishap into opportunities. Make your stories worth listening and inspiring. And at last, before I end this, all I can tell you is if you believe in something, and if you're good at something, and if you're passionate about something, your heart will tell you, don't stop. Thank you. Good night. God bless.